What's up everybody, Mark with Coffee and Toys here, bringing you a different sort of video today. We are not doing a figure review today. I decided, because I've never done one of these before, but I've watched lots of different YouTubers do their own type of list, so I figured, what the heck, I'm going to do my top 10 G.I. Joe classified figures for 2023 so far. Now, this is my top 10 list, and it's only based on figures that I have in hand right now, that I have received, that are available to the masses currently or currently shipping. So for example, you will not see Nunchuck on this list because it is a figure I do not own. Most people don't own him. I know a few people do, but for the most part he is not a widely available figure yet, so therefore Nunchuck would not be on this list. But that being said, tell me what you think about my list. Tell me what's right about it, what's wrong about it, what your list would be. But yeah, I just thought this would be fun. A fun little thing to do on this Saturday when we have an eclipse going on right now. You know, I'm sitting here kind of checking out the eclipse out my window, and it's really weird to see. It's like the afternoon right now, even though it looks like it's the afternoon, even though it's actually the morning. So that being said, let's kick this list off with number 10 on my G.I. Joe top 10 classified figures of 2023 thus far. Okay, coming in at number 10 is none other than everyone's favorite sailor, Shipwreck. When they announced this figure, I knew it was just a matter of time before we got him. I'm actually surprised we got it in 2023. I figured he'd be like a 2021, 2022 candidate. But things I really like about this figure, number one thing I like about this figure right off the bat is that Polly has a peg leg. So he's able to plug right in. It was a great idea by the Hasbro team to give Polly a peg leg so that you could actually stick him in on different parts of Shipwreck's attire to actually make him stay, and it's just a great idea. The other thing I really like about this figure is how Hasbro has started introducing the alternate hairstyles. So we have the Shipwreck with the hat on, his sailor hat on, and then we can take that hairpiece off and put on another hairpiece for Shipwreck sans hat. I think those are both very good choices. Of course, he comes with a great amount of accessories that fit his sailor personality and job description, so to say. So coming in at number 10 is Shipwreck. All right, we've made it to number 9 on the list, and number 9 we're going over to Cobra. And Cobra Arctic Bat is my number 9 choice. And I tell you what, this was a figure at first I was like, I don't need another bat in my collection, until this figure came out. And we get new accessories, we get the alternate head, and this looks like a truly menacing bat. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't mind if they repainted this bat and gave it to us in a couple other different flavors, either looking closer to, you know, V1 colors, but that alternate head with that big eye right in the middle of the forehead, the chainsaw arm, the flak vest that you can put over top the chest instead of just that normal metal looking piece, I should say. I was blown away by this figure. He came with plenty of accessories, including an alternate head that was just the original bat head. So fantastic. It's a great troop builder if you're into Arctic environment scenarios. You can have a leader and you can have, you know, regular Arctic bats behind him. But I just think this is a fantastic figure, and that is why it has made it to number 9 on my 2013 Best of G.I. Joe Classified series thus far. Okay, we've made it to number 8. And number 8, we're going back to the G.I. Joe team. We're going to an OG 13 Joe, and of course that figure is Rock and Roll. So, awesome figure. I couldn't wait to get Rock and Roll because I really want them to complete the original 13 Joes. And he's a character that I think they've given appropriate updates to for the most part. I love the surfer vibe, giving him the tattoos, really making this guy seem like a truly living up to his name of Rock and Roll. Of course, he comes with the right amount of accessories. He comes with his big old, I don't think it's a Browning. I can't think of what the actual gun's called. I apologize. You can drop a comment, let me know what it is. But he comes with his big old gun. He comes with his helmet, bandoliers. It's just a great update in my mind from the original 82 Joe to 2023. That is why Rock and Roll is number 8 on my top 10 list. All right, we are sticking with the Joe team for number 7. If you have a top 10 list, drop it down in the comments below. I'd love to compare your top 10 list for 2023 versus my top 10 list. Tell me some ones I'm missing that you think definitely should be on my list when they're on your list. Greatly appreciate it. By the way, if you hit that like button, really helps the channel out. Make sure you subscribe because I do a few videos a week and I enjoy making content for you guys. But that being said, number 7 is OG Grunt. Of course, gotta have Robert Graves in on this. I was really looking forward to this figure, and I love what they've done with him. He's a great upgrade to the original figure, same vein as Rock and Roll. I see Grunt, and I'm like, yes, that is what I'd want a 2023 version of Grunt to look like. And, of course, throwing in the steel core helmet is just icing on the cake. Of course, he comes with the laser rifle. He comes with his classic M16 rifle. It's exactly what I want. If I had anything to nitpick on it, it's what everybody else has nitpicked at. You can't troop build Grunt because it says Graves across his chest. But of course you could paint that out with any number of paint. You could acetone it off. But overall, great figure. Love that they gave us Grunt. Can't wait to see this figure reintroduced, hopefully in a tan desert style, maybe to go along with the Dusty and Desert Commando Snake Eyes. Hasbro, are you listening? We need Grunt, and we need him in tan now. But number 7, Grunt, on the G.I. Joe Classified Top 10 of 2023 thus far. Okay, we've made it to number 6 on my top 10 G.I. Joe Classified figures of 2023 thus far. Make sure you drop a comment, tell me what you like and what you don't like on this list, and what you would have replaced if there's something differing from your own. Now, moving forward, I debated a long time on whether I wanted to include deluxe figures in this list, and ultimately I said, yes, they're going to be in this list because they are figures that have been released, and yes, being a deluxe kind of pushes them up, and you'll see a trend going forward that a lot of the top 6 and moving forward are deluxe figures because they do indeed, they're deluxe figures. They come with more things, that pushes them up the list. That's the way life is. Sorry. It's my list, so that's the way I'm doing it. But we are back over to Cobra, and with this, we have number 6 belongs to the Televiper with the Cobra Flight Pod, aka Trouble Bubble. I think everybody, when they start talking about making small Joe and Cobra vehicles, almost immediately everybody's spider sense went off and said, hey, for Cobra, you gotta make the Trouble Bubble. And of course, they gave us the Televiper with the Trouble Bubble, and it's a fantastic set. They gave us 2 alternate heads, the Trouble Bubble itself with the little bomb that drops off. It connects to it. It's just an awesome piece that can actually sit on its own. Not enough good things to say about this. Only thing I wish I had gotten more than one. But what was it, $45 a pop? It was, a little price prohibitive at the moment, but I think it's a great set for us to have. You can't go wrong with it. It looks great. Matter of fact, we're already going to get it again sometime at the end of this year or beginning of next year in the Python Patrol collars. So, of course, Hasbro's going to, if they're going to spend that money to make a deluxe set, they're going to reuse it as much as possible. So we're going to get the Python Patrol Televiper with Flight Pod sometime in the near future because it is great. But number 6 on the list is indeed the G.I. Joe Classified Series Cobra Televiper with Flight Pod, aka the Trouble Bubble. Okay, we're halfway through the list. We've made it to number 5 on my top 10 figures of G.I. Joe Classified Series 2023 thus far. We're sticking with Cobra. We're sticking with deluxe figures. And this one was something a lot of fans wanted. One of the final figures to round out the upper echelon of the Cobra hierarchy. And of course, number 5 would be none other than Scrap Iron with the anti-armor drone. And wow, they just knocked this one out of the park. I mean, I'm not a huge Scrap Iron fan, but after getting this figure, let's talk about what he comes with. He comes with, first of all, this amazing drone that, has rubber treads and has the missiles that go in, has the plumes of smoke and fire that you can attach to the inside of the drone and the missile, and it just looks amazing. Different size plumes. And then Scrap Iron himself, removable helmet with just the gnarliest face that you can imagine. Looks like, got the bad end of a missile. I don't know. But man, comes with his little remote. He is just all over the place awesome. And yeah, a lot of people were looking forward to this figure. And with that drone, who knows? Maybe it'll have some sort of connectivity to his tank when it comes out. I don't know. It looks amazing. I love it. I'm glad he isn't a troop builder because, again, that would have been an expensive troop builder to get. But for me, number 5 is Scrap Iron with his anti-armor drone. Okay, we're at number 4 on my top 10 list of G.I. Joe classified figures for 2023 thus far. Make sure you drop a comment and tell me what your top 10 list is. I'd love to read it, and tell me what you don't think should be in mine and was in yours. That being said, we are going back over to the G.I. Joe team. We are going to our Arctic Missions Specialist himself, and of course I'm talking about Snow Job. Snow Job's a G.I. Joe that everybody that loves G.I. Joe wants a figure of. I'm not a huge Snow Job fan, but when I saw this one, I said, oh my gosh, absolutely. And let's talk about this figure because everything that he comes with, the skis, the backpack, the snowshoes, the poles, everything being able to fit on his backpack, the alternate head, the goggles, even the paint applications on this figure where they made his face right through here, you know, little red from being out in the sun and the cold. It just, everything about this figure is perfect. Hasbro could not have made this figure any better, in my opinion. He looks absolutely wonderful. Kudos to the Hasbro design team for just knocking this one out of the park. And of course, there's going to be plenty of bad guys coming up soon through the end of the year. You know, we've got the Snow Serpent coming soon. We've got the Arctic Bat that was on the list earlier. So there is no shortage of bad guys for Snow Job to throw hands with. And that is why he is number 4 on my top 10 list. Okay, we are in the top 3, folks. We are almost through the list. And of course, I sat with this list and I had my top 3. And number 1 pretty much stayed at number 1. But number 2 and number 3 kept kind of doing this little number in my head. And I said, man, I don't know which one to put. The top 3 was the hardest part of doing this list. Actually, that was probably the second hardest part. The hardest part was actually doing the top 10 list, was trying to decide who makes it and who doesn't. I kept slotting people in and out and saying, no, I like this one. No, I think this one beats out a little more. And I'd go over to my other review desk and I'd play around with the figures and I'd be like, oh, I don't know which one to do. But the number 3 position is another deluxe set again, and we are with the G.I. Joe team again. And this time, number 3 spot is going to go to the G.I. Joe Steel Core 2-pack. And wow, this 2-pack is phenomenal. I love it. When they announced that they were doing Steel Core, formerly Steel Brigade, I was super excited. And it's just a wonderful set. You get a male and female trooper. You get the classic Steel Brigade helmet / head, because it's not truly a helmet. But then you also get what I'm going to call the Steel Brigade Delta head, because it looks very similar to the Delta head they released in the modern era toy line with the gold visor. And you get 2 jump packs. You get the plumes that come off the jump packs. You get multiple knives, multiple pistols, multiple and different assault rifles. This set has it all, and this is what I consider the definitive troop builder. I mean, at least for the Joe side. Now on the Cobra side, we got the Viper 3-pack, and now on the Joe side, we've got these Steel Core set of figures, or a pair of figures. And of course, the box art looks great. You see the Statue of Liberty. They're flying with their jump packs, reminiscent of the beginning of the 1987 G.I. Joe animated movie. There's not enough good things. I have 3 of these sets ordered. I have 2 right now. I've got another one on the way. I can't wait till they re-release this set in different paint decos. I'm really hoping they release it in the Steel Brigade color from 1993, the dark blue and the dark green with the gold helmet. I cannot wait to get repaints of this 2-pack. So Hasbro, if you're going to do it, go ahead and sign me up for a few more, because I will definitely purchase more. And that is why the number 3 spot belongs to the G.I. Joe Steel Core 2-pack. Okay, here we are. We are at number 2. And man, number 2 and number 1, you know, they kind of went back and forth in my brain, but you'll see why. And feel free to disagree with me. Feel free to tell me why I'm wrong with my number 2 pick. But number 2, of course, is Team G.I. Joe, and number 2 belongs to Low Light. Low Light is an amazing figure. Looks just, I mean, you again, like similar like Snow Job, could not do a better job. He just looks excellent. And the thing that really sells me on this figure is it almost looks like they took the 25th anniversary Low Light and just stretched him out into 6-inch form and then made him even better. He's got the removable goggles. He's got all of his sniper kit that can go inside that bag. It pegs onto his back, and he just looks phenomenal. He's got the range of motion in the hands to hold his sniper properly. And wow, I cannot wait to actually shoot some more pictures with my Low Light figure. He just looks awesome. And again, this figure is so awesome, you know you're going to get him again. He's probably going to be a Slaughter's Marauders figure, or whatever they're calling it now, since they can't, I think they're just calling it Marauders. I can't remember. But I'm sure we're going to get a repaint of him in the future, and I'm totally on board with that because he's so awesome a figure. And yeah, not enough good things. If you haven't picked up Low Light, you better, because that figure is phenomenal. And that is why he is number 2 on my G.I. Joe Classified Series Best of 2023 so far. Okay, we're here. You've lasted with me. We've made it to the number 1 spot. You probably have a pretty good guess who number 1 is. But if you haven't, I'm going to tell you who it is here in a moment. As soon as you smash that like button, because it really helps out the channel, make sure you subscribe, because I do videos, a few times a week, and it really helps out. And I like doing this with you guys and talking to you. So that being said, if you haven't already guessed it, of course, we are going back over to Team Cobra, and I am talking about the number 1 spot belonging to none other than Firefly V2 for the G.I. Joe Classified Series. Now, this is the one... when version 1 of Firefly came out, he was very hard to find. It was during that whole mess. We had COVID, Target had it, and it was, they weren't showing up. And a lot of people actually, dropped out of the line, me included. I dropped out of the line because it was so hard to find some of these damn figures. Just, that's what it was. But that Firefly, while very good, did not scratch that itch that collectors wanted. So Hasbro, the G.I. Joe team in particular, gave us exactly what we wanted in this figure. Classic camo pattern, grenades down one side, ammo packs down the other. He comes with his classic submachine gun. He comes with the knife on the forearm that's removable, just, paying homage to the original figure back in the original line, A Real American Hero. And they upped the ante by giving us his backpack that now has an RC car with a detonator on it. He has replaced the phone with some sort of detonator device. And wow. And of course, he also comes with the landmines. He comes with 2 landmines. I almost completely forgot about that. And he's just perfect. Now, some people unfortunately had some QC issues with the ab crunch being a little loose. I was fortunate. That was not something that happened on my figure. And when I look at this figure, I just say, oh my gosh, yes, this is just, again, another figure that has just been stretched up to 6 inches and is perfect every way around. I have no complaints with this figure. He just looks phenomenal. That is why Firefly is rounding out my list as number 1 on the top 10 G.I. Joe Classified series figures for 2023 thus far. There you have it. That's my top 10 list for the G.I. Joe Classified figures of 2023 thus far. Who made it onto your list? Who do you not like on my list? Drop a comment down below, because I'd love to read these lists, because like I said, I had a hard time kind of swapping people in and out. And I'm sure there are folks that have, trying to think of the one that I kept swapping in and out. Like, I know, for example, just to kind of tell you some figures that got thrown in and out. Cobra Eel was one that got thrown in and out, because I know a lot of you out there love the Cobra Eel. That's like one of your favorite figures from when you were a child. And for me, I never had a big, I never really liked the Cobra Eel V1. I'm a V2 eel kind of guy. So that was, for example, a figure that goes going in and out on my top 10 list. But we'll recap right now. The top 10 list was Shipwreck, Arctic Bat, Rock and Roll, Grunt, Televiper, Scrap Iron, Snow Job, Steel Core 2-pack, Low Light, and Firefly V2. So I appreciate you guys watching this with me. I hope you enjoyed the content because I enjoyed making this list. It was really fun to do. It was really fun to think about. It was fun to play with the figures a little bit and kind of really decide who my top 10 really were. But make sure you like the video, drop a comment down below. Otherwise, I'm Mark, you're watching Coffee with Toys, and I'll see you later.